We released Terror Storm, a history of government-sponsored terror, in July of 2006. We released Terror Storm, a history of government-sponsored terror, in July of 2006. Added on Google powerful information documenting government-sponsored terror. My friends, if you'd like to get a DVD of Terror Storm and support the filmmakers, visit Infowars.com, a higher quality version. But whatever you do, please spread this free video to everybody you can so that they can wake up to the fact that the New World Order is real and is attacking the people. Our leaders have told us that the war may last 100 years, a new kind of war against an enemy that can never be defeated.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Generation will have to lay down in an endless war for global empire.
It was a breathtaking display of firepower.
And the Pentagon says
the perfect specter to convince populations to their liberty in the name of security.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, against us.
And if he does not disarm, the United States of America will lead a coalition and disarm him in the name of peace.
We've been told that we're facing a 100-year war that will last generation after generation. In this film, we will explore who pulls the string, benefits from the dark spectacle of modern warfare. We will answer the question, do the people know how they are controlled? Do they understand the systems of power that surround them, the modern propaganda, and fill their minds full of ball games and mindless fluff? Is the population beginning to realize that governments throughout history have used the specter of fear to drive their populations into acquiescing to total tyranny? 11th, national ID cards, Big Brother, the Iraq War, the 7/7 bombings in Iran. How are they all interconnected? In previous films, we have focused predominantly on September 11th as the foundational event, the pretext for the...
The smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made the pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
National polls show that most Americans and Western, a large part of that majority, believes that 9/11 was an inside job. But the establishment press to contest any view concerning 9/11. In this documentary, we will first look at historical events that are not contested. Events where the fact of government-sponsored terror is not debated, but in fact openly admitted to by Western governments. Examples of government-sponsored terrorism in modern history, or what are known as false flag operations. We're going to start by looking at just 5 past examples, then we'll look at several modern cases. What is a false flag? The encyclopedia conducted by governments, corporations, or by other organizations which are designed to appear as if they were carried out of flying false colors, that is, flying the flag of a country other than your own. There are many variants of false flag operations, but one of the most popular carried out by stage a terror attack or horrible criminal incident and then blame it on your political enemy. Best known cases of a false flag op was carried out by the newly elected Adolf Hitler on February 27, 1933. Nazi documents uncovered at the end of World War II, as well as testimony during the Nuremberg trials, revealed what many historians all Goering had set fire to the Reichstag, the German parliament building. The Nazis then produced their patsy, Marinus van der Lubbe, a young man who was found rolling around in an alley behind the Reichstag naked. Van der Lubbe was then taken before a Nazi show trial, found guilty and sentenced to death. He was beheaded on January 10, 1934. Using the crisis he had created and set his sights on the world. By March of 1939, Hitler had already seized Czechoslovakia. Having Czechoslovakia, Hitler desired to move east against Poland, but he did not want to look like the aggressor. Hitler needed an attacking Poland. It was Heinrich Himmler who came up with a plan. Thus, the operation was codenamed Operation Himmler. On the night of August 31st, 1930, the Germans took an unknown prisoner from one of the concentration camps, dressed him in a Polish uniform, town of Gleiwitz, on the border, and then shot him. The staged scene with the dead prisoner dressed in a Polish uniform was supposed to appear as a Polish attack against the German radio station. German radio, newspapers, and newsreels were flooded with images of what appeared to be a dead Polish soldier who had dared attack the Reich. Now Hitler had his excuse to invade Poland, and the nightmare of World War II had begun. In 1953, the Central Intelligence Agency, working in tandem with MI6, Mossadegh had been educated in the West, was pro-America, and had driven communist country shortly after being elected in 1951. British Petroleum a monopoly. The CIA's own history department at CIA.gov details how you and then subsequently blamed them on Mossadegh. In the late 1990s, large sections of Operation, the field commander of Operation was none other than the grandson of President Theodore Roosevelt, Kermit Roosevelt. Before his death in 2000, Roosevelt went public to the media and blaming it on the government. The provocations included propaganda, demonstrations, bribery, agents of influence, and blamed it on Mossadegh. They attacked mosques, crowds, and then handed out thousands of handbills claiming that Mossadegh had done it. The handbills read, Dr. Mohammed Mossadegh was incarcerated for the duration of his life. He fared better than many of his ministers who were executed just days after the successful for crimes that MI6 and CIA had committed. The CIA then formed the dreaded Iranian Secret Police, or SAVAK, and a 25-year reign of terror and torture. The operation was seen by Western intelligence agencies as a huge success. The CIA then successfully used the exact same technique to overthrow elected governments and dictators alike. Operation Gladio is an umbrella name for literally hundreds in Italy, Western Europe, the Middle East, Latin America, and Asia. From 1947 until 1981, Italian presidents have gone public admitting Operation E.S.T. On November 22, 1990, the European Parliament had a resolution condemning the activities of Operation Gladio. Actions as well. Many other countries have declassified documents concerning Gladio. It is part of the public record that our government and other Western governments targeted trains, buses, schools, and would get the population hopping mad and ready to relinquish their liberties. A particularly bloody bombing at the central station of Bologna, Italy, on the morning of August 2nd, caused some Italian officials to break their silence and begin to expose just a small part of. And now the Gulf of Tonkin incident. In the summer of 1964, President Lyndon Baines Johnson needed a pretext to commit the American people to the already
yesterday and today, President Johnson's response was hard.
To any armed attack upon our forces, we shall reply. Asia, who ask our help in defending their freedom, we shall give it.
In November 2001, the LBJ Presidential Library and Museum released tapes of phone calls with the President and then Defense Secretary Robert McNamara, where they openly discussed plans to use the staged Gulf of Tonkin incident to expand the war. In late 2005, the National Security Agency declassified its own official history of the Gulf of Tonkin and admitted that intelligence agency officers had deliberately skewed the destroyers on August 4, 1964, when in reality they had done nothing, even while being fired on by U.S. forces. Congress then paved the way for 58,000 American deaths and over 1.5 million dead Vietnamese. Of C-4 planted on a Douglas DC-8 aircraft exploded, killing all 73 people on board in the most deadly act of airline terror. The plane was carrying Olympic athletes from 3 countries, including gold medal winners from Cuba. Declassified FBI and CIA documents show that the convicted bombers of the flight had been given U.S. visas just days. This had been reported on in respected publications for years, but has now been confirmed by multiple publications. Cuban plane bomber was CIA agent. Declassified U.S. government documents show that a man suspected of involvement in the bombing of a Cuban passenger plane worked for the CIA. Luis Posada Carrillos. In the early 1960s, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, L.O. Lemonster, concocted a plan for false flag operations as a pretext to invade Cuba and for war with the Soviet. In Operation Northwoods, they planned Cuba. There were many other terrorist attacks they planned to carry out that were contained within the document. One scenario mentioned was the destruction of a U.S. naval vessel that was to be blamed on a foreign power. As a pretext for war, they picked. President Lyndon Baines Johnson went operational with Northwoods on June 8, 1967, Six-Day War. During the Six-Day War between Israel and the Arab nations, the USS Liberty was sent by Johnson to collect electronic intelligence in the eastern Mediterranean. The clearly marked U.S.
had been completed. The 3 torpedo boats approached us from our starboard quarter at high speed.
Israeli surveillance aircraft flew low over the ship and clearly identified it as an American vessel. 3 fighter bombers. From the onset of the attack, the fighter bombers were jamming U.S. signals. Not only were they jamming U.S. signals specifically, unmarked, the only unmarked aircraft in Israel's arsenal. The fighter bombers strafed the ship, dropped conventional munitions and napalm on the ship, repeatedly from stem to stern. After the Mirages had done their work, the ship was hit by medium bomber Dassault missiles carrying napalm and other munitions like white phosphorus. The USS Liberty was then attacked by 3 Israeli torpedo boats. The torpedo gunboats opened fire with high-caliber machine guns and launched torpedoes. A single torpedo struck the ship, blowing a hole in both sides, entering the ship and leaving a 30-foot exit hole when it exploded. Then the torpedo boats began strafing life rafts in the water. While all of this was happening, the oversized American flag flew clearly above. The attack on the Liberty went an hour. During the entire attack, the USS Liberty continually called the 6th Fleet that was nearby, begging for air support or rescue. Carriers in the Med responded by launching fighter aircraft. Unbelievably, they were recalled by the White House. Rear Admiral Guy, carriers in the 6th Fleet, called Washington personally to confirm the recall order. Secretary of Defense McNamara came on the line, and then President Johnson himself told Geis, "I want that goddamn ship going to the bottom. No help. Readings." Imagine being Admiral Geis begging the president to allow you to an American ship that's under attack and being told by him that he wants the ship going. Despite the fact that the U.S. carriers withdrew their help, a spy ship appeared and witnessed part of it. After 3 hours into the attack, the Israelis withdrew because there were witnesses, allowing the damaged USS Liberty to limp to safety. 40 years after the attack on the USS Liberty, we know exactly what happened. The admirals that were on the line who heard what President Johnson said. I've even talked to the head JAG officer of the Navy, who was ordered to falsify the reports and cover-ups has gone public as well, saying that 3 times he refused over his radio to headquarters to attack the ship, saying clearly that it was an American ship in international waters and an ally. He was ordered under threat of court-martial. In a nutshell, this is what happened. President Johnson had personal control over the ship, parked it in the Mediterranean, made a backroom deal with Israel to attack it with an order to kill all aboard. Then the attack on the ship was to be blamed on Egypt in the aftermath of the attack on the most highly decorated ship in U.S. history. The captain and his entire crew were told they would spend life in prison or be killed if they told anyone what happened. Captain William L. McGonigal was given. Now that we've looked at a small cross-section of historic of government-sponsored terrorism, let's fast forward to the horrific attacks in London. Tony Blair, leader of the pro-war Labour Party, had lost a huge number of seats in the Parliament and was fighting to keep his position as Prime Minister. And then right on time, the bombings of 7/7 and 7/21 occurred. Within days of the London bombings, evidence I traveled to London from Austin, Texas, to personally investigate. Once I arrived, I was met by Paul Joseph Watson and his brother Steve Watson, who are reporters for my news website, prisonplanet.com. To understand the London bombing, you first need to look at 3/11/2004, the bombings in years after the blast that rocked trains in the city of Medellin. The government admits that Al-Qaeda had no connection to the attacks. The Spanish security services, including the head of their bomb squad, the alleged leader of the bombers, who reported was connected to the Madrid bomb squad. And we see the exact marks, the same MO in the London bombings that we witnessed in Madrid. On the morning of July 7th, 2000, city bus were ripped to pieces when 4 military-grade explosive devices detonated. 3 explosive devices simultaneously detonated on 3 separate trains. Within minutes, eyewitnesses were reporting to the press that there had been multiple terror attacks. Despite the dying Londoners, Scotland Yard for over an hour and a half claimed that all of the disruptions were simply caused by a power outage in the London Underground.
Power surge on the Underground, and so that's when I think everybody knew that it wasn't, I think it was just an excuse, power surge, whatever.
Why would they say that though, knowing it wasn't?
Trying to cover up probably, you know what I mean? So there wasn't no panic and everybody sort of like just get on with everything, so.
Then mysteriously, 50 minutes into the attack, the London police and orders the number 30 Hackney to Marble Arch bus to leave its normal route, Woburn Square and Tavistock Place. At 9:47, a fourth bomb detonates, killing 13 civilians and injuring many others. Note, out of several hundred buses control of and direct to Tavistock Square.
I've been walking up and down this road, looking at the bus stops for a number 30. The bus stops have all the numbers of the buses on them individually. There's no number of the bus stops. That's because the number 30 bus was...
There's no bus stop here.
There's no number 30 bus stop here, no.
Well, that was in the news, that it was specifically diverted here.
They admitted that the number 30 bus was the only bus that was directed to a different area of the city. For no reason it would come down this road when it was bombed.
Remember, one, that it's just a power failure, an outage. Meanwhile, commuters on the bus were listening to other radio reports where eyewitnesses were reporting explosions. The supposed bomber on the bus with the rucksack became panicked and began looking in his rucksack. Police detectives investigating the case said that all 4 of the bombers on the 3 trains and the bus didn't fit of bombers. They bought 2-way tickets. They'd played games of cricket the night before. They had good jobs and happy families. One of the alleged bombers was caught by surveillance. Scotland Yard detectives had a chance to talk to some of the eyewitnesses from the bus and the trains. They stated clearly on the record they believed that the bombers did not know that they had explosives in their backpacks. This was only one of huge developments in the case that only received bare mentions in the back of the newspaper. July 29th edition of Fox News Channel's Dayside program revealed that the so-called mastermind of the 7/7 bombings, Harun Rashid Aswad, is a British intelligence asset. Former Justice Department prosecutor and FBI terror expert John Loftus exposed the SWAT was being protected by MI6 and was clearly under their control.
SWAT is believed to be the mastermind of all the bombings in London.
On the 7/7 and 7/21, this is the guy, we think.
This is the guy. Police are out chasing him, and one wing of the British government, MI6, or the British Secret Service, has been hiding him. And this has been a real source of contention between CIA...
Has been working for them?
Oh, I'm not saying it. This is what the Muslim Sheikh said in an interview in a British newspaper back in 2001.
So he's a double agent, or what?
He's a double agent.
He's working for the... So he's working for the Brits to try to give them information about Al-Qaeda, but in reality...
All accused MI6 of letting all these terrorists live in London. Now, we knew about this guy Aswad back in 1990 because him and his buddy were trying to set up a terrorist training school in Oregon. The headquarters of the U.S. Justice Department ordered the Seattle prosecutors not to touch Aswad. Aswad was working for British intelligence. Now, there's a split of opinion within U.S. intelligence. Some people say that the British intelligence fibbed to us. They told us that Aswad, what most of the Justice Department thinks, they think that it was just, again, covering up for this very publicly affiliated guy with Al-Mujarrun. He was a British intelligence plant.
Our CIA says, okay.
The Brits say no. Now, at this point, 2 weeks ago, the Brits know that the CIA wants to get a hold of Harun. So what happens? He takes off again. Goes right to London. He isn't arrested when he lands. He isn't arrested when he leaves.
Even though he's on a watch list.
He's on the watch list. The only reason he could get away with that was if he was working for British intelligence. He was a wanted man.
They jail him.
They jail him. He's released within 24 hours.
In lieu of breaking the Official Secrets Act and imprisoned for 6 months.
There's been a witness report now included in a local British newspaper called the Cambridge Evening News, the rucksack. In fact, after the explosion, what he saw was metal pointing upward from the bottom of the carriage. That would indicate, of course, that the bomb was not carried onto the tube train, but was in fact attached underneath it. Following that up, now I hope investigators and the police are.
A current member of British Parliament and a former minister in Prime Minister Tony Blair, Michael Meacher, was sacked in 2003 for raising important questions on the eve of the Iraq War.
Atrocity of London bombings where 56 people were killed. That was on the 7th of July, we call it. It's a very convenient way of ensuring there is fear, of ensuring that there is control. Secret are in a position of extreme power.
As part of our London bombing, we wanted to investigate the suspicious death of Jean-Charles de Mendez. Within days of his brutal murder at the Stockwell tube station in the London Underground, evidence of a cover-up began to emerge. We were at the station just a week after he was killed, and many of the facts we've covered were already public knowledge. But still, some of the locals made excuses for the police.
What did you witness?
Running into the station with guns. That's all we saw. We didn't see anything else at all. And then
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Oh, before we get started, now that I'm back, I want to say thank you to Anonymous, Militia, Sovereigns, Patriots, Patriot Bikers, Ralliers, Protesters, Demonstrators, everybody. I want to say those organizations you have heard, blah, 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 blah. Anonymous doesn't work with Militia. Militia doesn't want to work with Anonymous. What you don't know, what you haven't been privy to, and what people didn't want me to tell you until today is that we have all been working for what they think. They're allowed to have their opinion, and that's the point. They can be in the militia and say, oh, I don't like Anonymous, I don't want to wear a mask, I think people are hiding behind something. For the militia, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The fact is we've all been working together all along. This is the only way that we get things done. We're not going to rob you guys of your opinions. We're American. We've allowed all of you, everyone, who, whether you disagree or agree, to feel how you feel while we got the work done. Recently, we were able to get food, a little bit of money, a gentleman that is blind and has 1.5 legs, another family with a single mom. And you're not going to believe this, she actually has a state job and cannot afford to buy food and does not smoke. Different folks out there, we're going to address this. There's a lot of hopelessness, and when I asked everybody and interviewed, hey, what is it you want to talk about? What is it you want to hear about? Most people said TPP. I'm going to TPP, and then one person said revolution tactics. Believe it or not, these two things coincide. So, thank you to everybody. I understand a lot of folks are like, what right now? If you are in whatever group, we are all sharing the same space, and the leadership understands that. The leadership has understood that since day one, from day one. And we get it done. It's the only way to get it done, ladies and gentlemen. We are Americans, we are sharing the exact same space, and if you have chosen to be in the Sovereigns or the fact is you picked a group that is closest to your aptitude and your likeness, the things that you find in tandem with yourself, and that you find yourself in opposition to anyone, because you don't. The fact is you don't. You may say, oh, I don't like Anonymous, and they're hiding behind a mask, and the Anons are a symbol of equality. We are all equal. We are all the same. And we we probably are always going to have more in common. So, in part, it's kind of what we've been taught. So we're going to get on TPP. We're going to get on our revolutionary tactics. I am going to say some things that you have not heard before. I am going to say things they need to be said. We are not as hopeless as people want us to believe. We were never that hopeless. There is no book, so to speak, that says here to disassociate yourself from your ruling class. Here's how you do it, right? There isn't one. It doesn't exist to give you guys part of that. But the first thing we're going to get on is TPP. And before we do any of that, I'm going to try to arrange supporting a little bit of some... no, well, yeah, maybe not right now. Yeah, we won't do it right now. Let's see here. Alright. I'm going scarred by having to see my ugly mug. Somebody had mentioned, I believe it was Julie Adams, she said... Somebody had said, they said, you know, you're going to have a lot to say after this big time off. As I can, I'm going to try to make it where it follows itself, where it actually makes a little bit of sense. Here in a minute, I'll put a pretty little picture up on Activist Liaison Net. Before I get into that, terroristic terrorist training terrorist on terrible terrorism. Terroristic terrorist training terrorist on terrible terrorism. Terroristic terrorist training terrorist on terrible terrorism. I for Natasha Titino. There you go. One more time. Terroristic terrorist training terrorists on terrible terrorism. There we are. And if that hasn't attracted the FBI, DEA, DHS, CIA, and all, then they're not doing their job today. It's obviously, the weekend, and they want to go and party like the rest of us. So, your country, and he's like, how much money you got, and then you only have to go through the one person, the king. This is the type of thing that we got away from. This is a direct thing that we tried to revolt from. Not going, okay, here's the other thing, all right? I've basically told you what I'm telling you to tell you this. Nor you in DC know what is in TPP. Let me say that again. The American political class and social know what is in TPP. I know, I'm going to give you a minute to gather your thoughts. It's a little bit hard to swallow. It doesn't even seem right. How in the fuck is there a bill that somebody wrote pass, and not only have they not read it, barring that not being extended? Yeah. The politicians that are voting it through, your Republicans and your Democrats, they push it through, mostly Republicans. Anyone could be a Democrat in this country. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And I know a bunch of you are my friends and acquaintances, but you're insane. You guys are insane. How can you buy into this? How does this happen? How is it that they convinced you that your voting is enough political engagement for you to be able to sleep well at night while they continually rape you with Patriot Acts and things? Any of that, you die in a state-sponsored prison that's secret. It's not alarmist speech, it's actually historical speech. So there we go. TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnerships that know what's in there. Very small group. It is currently being negotiated behind closed doors by officials from the United States and 11 other countries. Australia, Brunei, I have no idea. Weak position. How many of you know, or how many of you are somebody that is one paycheck away from possibly losing every bills to companies that don't give a fuck about you? And that's the reality we're in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to be that way. Revolutionary tactic, piece of graphite. This you will enjoy. This you can go to prison for, I'm sure. Actually, our open air prison that we're already in will lock you in a less convenient. So here we go. Illegal speech. Illegal revolutionary speech. How is it that we could be living in America and I could just say something, just fucking say something, words, people, words that hate the freedom that we speak of, that hate the mere opportunity of the freedom that we speak of? How is that? How did we get to this point? I don't know. I could give you all kinds of and to tell you will piss off the people who have put us in this position. The reason it will make them angry is because they passed laws to make sure we didn't do these things about the country. There is a blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. There is a book. It does tell you what to do. And it was our founding fathers and mother in a way consistent with the natural law, the natural order of things. So here we go. If you're paying too much for food at the grocery store, or everything along with everyone else, then here's what I say. I say we contact our farmers. I say we contact the farmers who have grains, who have vegetables and fruits. And here's what we do. We institute just yet, not entirely, okay? What we do is we contact them to tell them we want to buy all of our food from them. And we set up a society within the principle, the founding principle for our Declaration of Independence. You have to separate yourself from what is happening. You have to separate yourself from the binds that are holding you down. If a society is what it is that is holding you down, if it is your society, then go ahead and be called a criminal when you separate yourself from it, as you should. Because what we are instituting, along with everybody who is in the militias, in the sovereign communities, in Anonymous, that have been helping us since from freaking day one anyway, out to people who own private businesses, not corporate businesses. Much like John Hancock. He was a loyalist until he lost his home to the Brits. Power, his clout, and his influence to fund a revolution. He used his money to buy guns, and he used the smugglers, the weapons, maybe Benjamin Franklin, and when he wasn't womanizing and drunk. That's exactly what we're going to do again, ladies and gentlemen. At homes surrounding Columbus, there are people that hold all of these foods, some of which have been canned, some of which have been put into jars. For the month, for the week, whatever. They are cheaper, they are cleaner, and they are us taking care of ourselves. There will be stores that you can go into. If you somebody who is part of our society, you will be shopping from the back of the stores. Is everybody starting to understand now? Is everybody starting to realize the structure where they came in and couldn't find anything? They never went anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. They still very much exist, and they're here, and they're everywhere. They're still in Portland, Oregon, that are being used for this type of thing. Now, here's the other thing. If you grow your own food, if you grow your own tobacco, if you brew your own alcohol, your own wine, guess what? Get some people together, have them help you, start to brew your own stuff. Is it illegal? Probably. I don't give a shit, nor does anyone else. These home brews and these home wines get sold out of the... Why would we pay attention to the laws that are kicking our asses? Why would we pay attention to the laws that are killing us? Why would we pay attention to the laws that are destroying our nation? It makes no sense, but it does make a hell of a lot of sense for all of us communities, and if we have to do so to avoid another caste system, god damn it we will. You bet your ass we will. We'll break the law so goddamn fast these sons of bitches will never know what same stores with the same bags, but they'll never know what was in it, and they'll never know that we didn't pay tax on that meat, on that beer, on that wine, on that tobacco. To get it. Is everybody starting to understand that if we do not comply, nobody has a boss? Why would you comply? You comply at the cost of losing everything. And do not take part in this society as much as you possibly can. And that's exactly what we are doing. We are creating new ways for all of you instead of spending, better food. What if that came down to 500, you were eating better food, and you were doing it in a network of freedom fighters? Oh, that's my kitty. Howls at me every time I get emotional. I love this cat. Her name's Love. Will you turn that light on when you get a chance? Why would we? Why would we comply our liberty? Why would we continue to condone a system that is killing us? That is squandering our nation? We will do exactly what it is we need to do to preserve freedom and liberty. We fight, and we don't comply, and we don't pay taxes because we only want. We're only asking for things to be fair and equal. We are only fighting for things to be fair and equal. Anonymous, militia, sovereigns, demonstrators, protesters, ralliers, everybody, we're all doing the moms and dads. Not because we want to destroy, but because we want to recreate what's good and what's right. Not because anarchist chaos. That's not it. True anarchy doesn't even reside in chaos. We don't want chaos, and we don't want bloodshed, but make no mistake, we will beat the asses of every single one of these traitorous bastards that have tried to put their boots on our fucking necks. Talk about the Patriot Act. It's time for all of us to do our own thing, and if you're too goddamn scared, we don't need you. Understand this country has never needed you. Ever. You want to side with the fucking loyalists? everyone you love? Fine. You have made yourself plainly known to what you are and what you will never be to all of us. But to the rest of us that are not afraid, we don't give a fuck. We're not trying to lose their job. This is why we protect each other. We do this until we absolutely cannot do anything else to get our country back. But if your fear stops us, if your fear gets us, it's an entire community of freedom fighters that will know your name for the next 10 generations. That is all you are. That is all you will ever be if you can't see fit. If you can't see that it's the right thing to disobey unjust laws that are killing us. Unjust laws that have a boot on all of our necks. Understand this. Our middle class has been... And how many people do you know make $100,000 a year? Because the minimum wage for somebody who is now considered middle class in the United States of America is $250,000 a class. All you have to do is dissolve the middle class. The next thing you do is have this trade T.P.P. and then our food costs skyrocket. Watch a first world country turn into a third world country in the span of about 25 days. That's the dangerous position that we have put ourselves in by relying on a government that doesn't give a fuck about us. I know you don't want to home, but what if you had an entire network of people that saw fit to take care of you, that understood if you lost your business because your business was running stuff out of the back, that we have a contingency plan, all of us, and we're going to warrants running from the law, and others of us are going to be harboring those criminals. Make no mistake, those people aren't criminals. They're selling meat and things at a cheaper price that people made with their own wines that people made at home that you can use for medicine. We are getting back to that, ladies and gentlemen, and there is hope. There is hope for each and every. Grab it, then you don't understand and we don't need you to be part. Let me read this to you. And you tell me what you think it means. Today, 2015, 6/26, 20. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the power of the earth the separate and equal station, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Do you understand what that means? People to dissolve the political bands, to dissolve the political bands. When you walk into those stores and you show the back of that store to buy those cleaner foods, to buy those cheaper foods for your family, you understand what bands which have connected you with another. That is the basis for the Declaration of Independence. They had to dissolve the political bands. They had to assume among the powers of the earth. The powers of the earth. Well, what the fuck is that? What the fuck are the powers of the earth? What in the hell is he talking about? What does that mean? He's talking about these natural laws. We're not born to pay taxes and die, ladies and gentlemen. We're not. The laws of nature and of nature's God. This is our entitlement, ladies and gentlemen. It is ours. It belongs to us. All we have to do is pick it up and say that it's ours. If you understand that you're dissolving those political bands, you are now yourself. You may consider yourself an American, right? But whatever you are, our ruling class is not. So whatever they are, you are. Political climate when we need to dissolve the political bands. It is required that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Why? This Declaration of Independence. That you have to state why it is you're separating. Well, here he does. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Self-evident, motherfucker. We know. Fuck off. We know these things. They're self-evident. That all men are created equal. Every single one of us. If we are walking around on two freaking legs, call ourselves a human, we're the same. This is what separates the United States of America from every other country on earth. Individualism. It is our belief in the individual rights, individual. This is a huge point of contention that separates us from the rest of the world and separated our documents and our country from the rest of the world. Unalienable rights. Unalienable. You cannot take these rights away. These are our natural rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the sound like something we need today. We need to dissolve the political bans. Why? Because we just want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Holy fucking shit. You're absolutely right, we need another declaration. Damn stores and the taxes that are paid, and we create our own. We create our own societies within a society because we have no other choice. To take part in this society is not only counterproductive. So to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. A government becomes destructive of these ends. Do you believe your government has become destructive of these ends? Of course they have. Look at your food. Of course they become destructive. They don't even fucking know how to do anything else, it seems. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. This is an order given belongs to you. Period. Now, if you're listening in the UK, over there at Anonymous UK, love you guys, love you ladies, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. World. These documents. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish. It is our right. This is our right. We are not criminals for doing this. This is our right. This is why we are not tearing the country back, and we're not going to lay down and take it anymore. We're not, period. That's why we're disobeying these stupid fucking tax laws. We're going to farmers. We're getting our own food. We're stocking our homes with these. The family, and everyone is canning food, and we've got pressure cookers sitting out. You know, you got tomatoes, you got salsa, you got beans, you got all kind of shit. We're going to be smoking. The reliance on our government has put us in such a compromising position. We can no longer do this. They have been destructive, and it is our right to alter foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that government, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind, now listen to this, our founding fathers knew who we were by nature. Understand, they wrote this shit a long fucking time ago. Listen. And accordingly, all governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. What he's saying is people don't like change. And accordingly, all experience. So our founding fathers knew history very well. And it says history has shown that mankind are more disposed to this. You think these ass clowns in DC don't understand that very fact right there? They read that and they freaking jerk off at night. To suffer while evils are sufferable than the right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Do you understand that? You are more comfortable in. They understood that. They understood how hard it is to get people to revolt. They understood how difficult it is to get people motivated to say, yeah, you can have that food in my house and I'll sell it out and we'll get the money back to the farmers and we'll buy more and this person will make money, and then we start to build our own freaking empires this way, and we start to build our own communities this way. We start to build our own, and that's how they're going to view us. They can't come after us like that. Fuck that. We can absolutely use the methodologies that have been used before us, and we absolutely intend to. They understand that mankind are more disposed to suffer, because while evil exists, evil is sufferable, than the right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. It is easier to home and revolt. It's easier, and you'll suffer. They understood this. They understood this very well a long time ago. And if you think those cocksuckers in D.C. aren't very well aware of this one line in their secret societies, I really wouldn't be shocked. They understand who we are. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations produce them under absolute despotism, when a long train of abuses and usurpations, that's all you fucking need right there, man. They're telling you, this is in a strangely unique time just because we need to revolt. We're not. We're not. Historically, the founding mothers and fathers knew this was coming. And I doubt he knows I'm on the air. I'm going to answer it anyway. You are live on the air, sir.
Well, hello, good sir. Nice to be live.
Yeah. Shane the Sovereign, this is everybody.
Pleasure to meet you, everybody. I'm sure everyone listening is a righteous patriot, so I'm pleased to be talking with you.
Excellent, brother. What's going on with you?
Well, we're getting done, district and the Supreme Court and all that stuff, and then it's going to be weekend on. We're going to have a good time and enjoy wonderful people's company over at this contest.
Excellent, man. I got some. Then I'll call you back here.
Sounds great, brother. Everyone be well and stay righteous.
Excellent, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Later.
Later. All right. That is Shane the Sovereign giving us his in jail. Since she has been put in jail, her health has declined rapidly. She can no longer see out of one eye, is having problems seeing out of another eye, other things. Her health is failing, and so they are doing everything they can to file appeals. Shane is with Lotus's mother, who is a 80, trying to get her daughter some justice. So Lotus, we have not forgotten about you. We love you, and we're fighting for you. And they just got a bunch of stuff today, and then I'll let you know what the other shows have coming. All right, a long train of abuses pretty well describes what we've been going through. Despotism, which is where we're heading. If that weren't the case, why would they have decimated our middle class? Why is it you can't afford to go do something fun tonight? It is their right. It is their right. It is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Ladies and gentlemen, we need new guards. You know damn well you're awake, and most of us are not. What that essentially means is you have found yourself in a leadership position and you realize it is your responsibility to wake up your fellow ridiculed and patronized and just made fun of. You're going to be called names, but if we win, you'll be called a hero. You'll be called a patriot. Somebody who did. We need the new guards for our future security, and we have them. They're our militia. They just need to know that it's okay to stand as a guard. But things are getting these. And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations. All to prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. And that's exactly what they did. He has refused to assent to laws the most wholesome and get in pressing importance unless suspended in their operation, and they just keep going on and 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 on. So we will be creating another declaration of our independence, and this will be happening. The organization for it has been taking place. Now it's time to hit this next level of things. What I want all of you today, if you've been within earshot of me, I want you to talk to business owners, because business owners are the ones, when you talk to them, if you don't know them from Adam and you say, hey, I'd like to talk to you, say, okay, yeah, what about? Say, hey, what is it like to be a business owner? How much do you learn about God? Very, very plainly that they are taxed and regulated damn near out of existence. It's stupid. All of the hoops and things that they have to go through. These people could use a push. These people could use for all of us to pick each other up. If we don't do it, it won't be done. And we'll see where the country goes. From an open air prison to These folks, they've taken so many rights away, it seems like they've opened Pandora's box, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. Once they realized they could keep doing it and keep doing it, now it's about control. It's about power. They don't give a fuck about your skin color. They care that they can shoot you and get away with it, and their cops don't go to jail. I don't know how our country turned into this, but we're doing everything we can to change it back, and we need you. We need you, and you're an American. If you're listening and you're somewhere else and you can help, we need you. We need all of you. We need everyone. America does secularism, pompous bullshit. America influences the world in large part, and they're influencing the world in horrible ways. We're destroying motherfuckers. We're killing people. We're destroying Childs and the Jewish Bankers Association and all this crap. We don't want any part of it. These people are insane. They're psychopaths, and we just want to live. We just want to live. We just want to live free. Fair. All right, last 10 minutes of the show. If you guys want to call in, 740-919-0212. Again, 740-919-0212. You want to talk about racism for the last few minutes? You want to talk about sexism? You want to talk about aliens? I'm going to give it to you guys, and we'll discuss whatever you guys want. I don't have up and running, but I'm not looking at it, so give me a second, and I will go check the site. Let me see if there are any all right. It's not letting me go. All right. Yeah, we have our techies checking out the .com right now. Yeah, so the next shows that we have coming up, we're going on events for food drives, what's going on with Lotus in prison, keeping you guys up to date, just keeping you up to date with what's going on, keeping you in the loop with Interville, and then about 10 minutes away is Penn State University. We're going to head over there. That's a huge event, ladies and gentlemen, and you won't make it to any other event. Get to Pennsylvania. I'll do a show explaining everything, but their corruption has corruption. I mean, it's not, of course, it's not being reported, but one politician gets caught in corruption, snitches out another politician. That politician snitches out a new. The Attorney General their office has been raided 6 times. Their DA has been busted selling pot out of there. So also a whistleblower event. If you guys haven't been to a whistleblower event, those can get pretty freaking interesting. And then we'll be heading over to Penn State University, and so that'll be fun. We got that the 11th of next month. We 740-919-0212. You got about 5 minutes to call in, and then I'm out of here. If we live stream it from Comfest, it'll be tomorrow. We won't do that today. So we'll get all that to you. I appreciate everybody listening. I appreciate everybody being here. Again, thank you, Anonymous, Militia, Sovereigns, Patriot, you guys, and the information that you give me and the information we research and share. Don't forget, Ernest Angley up in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, is a Satanistic. He has an evangel temple up there. He's actually on TV. He goes to Africa all the time. This dude is way messed up. And the Anons out there have been rallying across the street from the church for a while. We've got we've got a number of pages that are up and running right now on Facebook, so I'll bring you guys a list of those things when I can. What's up?
Oh, I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, happy revolution, man. we'll be doing this again probably over the weekend. We'll live stream from ComFest. You guys will be able to see a couple 100,000 fucking people in downtown Columbus acting a fool. And then the weekend after that, we have the Doodah Parade. And we have signs we're going to put on the side of it. I think a couple of our activists have threatened nudity, which is always allowed at the Doodah Parade. But we are inviting every Anon within earshot to... anybody else, if you guys want to be there to just have a good time and check out the vending and stuff with us, it'd be a good event. So anyway, this weekend, YouTube links on my YouTube channel. Look for it on Activist Liaison Network whenever I can get to that damn website again. And man, I appreciate it, guys. I do have a lot that I want to cover that I've missed. Things that we're doing, things that you can do, most of which are illegal. Because the laws are fucking stupid and don't allow us to live free. So I say we look out for each other that way. So, alright, let's all break the law and have revolution. I will talk to you later. I appreciate you being here. And, oh yeah, real quick. Camera's not available, of course. Yeah, I have a stone cold killer living with me I want to show you guys. So, anyway, thanks, appreciate it. See you next time. Anybody else, if you guys want to be there to just have a good time and check out the vending and stuff with us, it'd be a good event. So anyway, this weekend ComFest, next weekend Doodah Parade, we'll be live streaming. Look for whenever I can get to that damn website again. And man, I appreciate it, guys. I do have a lot that I want to cover that I've missed, not been able to, and I'm going to share a lot of revolution which are illegal. Because the laws are fucking stupid and don't allow us to live free. So I say we break the law, and we do it as a community, and we do it in love. I will talk to you later. I appreciate you being here. And, oh yeah, real quick. I'm going to show this. I'm going to put this up on the camera. If my camera... I have a stone cold killer living with me I want to show you guys. So, anyway, thanks. Appreciate it. See you next time. Anybody else, if you guys want to be there to just it'd be a good event. So anyway, this weekend ComFest, next weekend Doodah Parade, we'll be live streaming. Look for it on my YouTube links on my YouTube channel. Look for it on Activist Liaison Network whenever I can get to that damn website again. And not been able to, and I'm going to share a lot of revolutionary tactics, things that we're doing, things that you can do, most of which are illegal. The law, and we do it as a community, and we do it in love, you know, and we look out for each other that way. So, all right, let's all break the law and have revolution. I will talk to you later. I appreciate